Why didn't you join a language academy?
Because I work full time, and then I don't like finish work and still go to class. And also, if I go to class, I will just go there like on the weekends. So then, like during the week, my exercise will just like 5 essays just pile up there, and then they review it in the weekends. And then I don't think that's efficient enough for me.
You are now listening to the IELTS podcast. Learn from tutors and ex-examiners who are masters of IELTS preparation. Your host, Ben Worthington.
Hello there, IELTS students. In this tutorial, we are looking at some recent IELTS Part 3 speaking questions, and I'm going to share some model answers and just break the answer down a little bit. And to do this, we're going to be using a new tool I've built with the help of a developer called byebyhumanenglishtutor.com. And you can go there, you can sign up. It's completely free for now. It's not perfect, I know. It's only working on laptops, desktops, computers. So if you're on your phone, you might struggle with it, unfortunately. But this has taken me a long time to build because I'm such a dunce when it comes to coding. But I'm getting there. And we're going to use this tool today to give us some like an exam simulation, because what happens is you go there, you sign up, you click simulate exam, and it's going to give you part 3 questions, and you can see your answer while you're talking. And that's not the only feature as well. Like, you can also just chat freely to it. I'm still working on this, I'm still working on the whole project, but being able to chat freely will help you with your fluency. It's like obviously the more you do it, the better you get. But when you're chatting with a chatbot like this, you can see what you're saying. So you'll be able to figure out like, oh, I'm making mistakes here. Oh, it's not being transcribed properly because I'm not pronouncing it correctly either. Also, you might be able to discover some like weak spots in your conversation skills. Let's just give it a shot. So we go there, we go call with Ben. Let's go. Hi there, how's it going?
Hey there, how's it going?
That's supposed to be my voice, by the way. And sometimes the voice gets a little emotional, which you might hear in a minute or two. So let's go. And allow microphone. Hi there, I'm doing really good, thank you very much, and I'm just struggling with IELTS Academic Task 1. Could you give me some advice, please? So I can see my answer transcribed, and it's just going to give me an answer.
I'm glad to hear you're doing well. For IELTS Academic Task 1, focus on identifying key trends, comparing data accurately, and using a variety of vocabulary to describe graphs and charts. Practice regularly and familiarize yourself with different types of visual data. Good luck.
It's supposed to be my voice. I don't think it's there yet, but it's reasonably close. When I showed it to other people, they're like, oh, that's you. And other people are like, who's that? Anyway. Thank you for your advice, Ben. And I'm also thinking about exploring Scotland.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or need further help, feel free to ask. I'm here to support you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Ben. All right, let's try again. Ben, I'm also thinking about exploring Scotland. I'd love to go.
I'm here for you.
There.
Feel free to share anything on your mind or any topics you'd like to discuss. I'm all ears.
I'm trying to. Right, as you can see, it takes a bit of a learning curve. Let's try again. I want to explore Scotland. I want to go up north. Have you got any suggestions? So I can see my answer, and it's going to give me the reply.
Exploring the Scottish Highlands is a fantastic choice. Consider visiting iconic locations like Loch Ness, the Isle of Skye, Glencoe, and the Cairngorms National Park for stunning landscapes and rich history. Enjoy your trip and immerse yourself in the beauty of Scotland's wilderness.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, we also can use Ben for some travel advice as well. So give that a shot. As I said, it's completely free. You want to go with your laptop, with your desktop, and it does take a while to get used to. I'm working on that. I'm working on speed, but developing it's not an easy skill to develop, ironically. So let's jump into the IELTS. We're going to simulate the exam. Click the button there and let's get going. So we're going to just do part 3 and it's going to give us a random question. Let's go.
Do you think people are taking too many photos these days?
Hit record. Yes, definitely. Too many people are taking too many photos, in fact, and I think it's an invasion of privacy, if I'm being honest. I think it's interesting what they do in Japan, whereby there is a light that shows on the phone when you're recording or when you are taking a photo, and this just lets other people know. And I think people are taking too many photos, largely just because of the explosion of smartphones. It's too easy and it's too accessible nowadays.
What kinds of photos do people like to take?
Okay, before I start recording, I'll just go back. Invasion of privacy. Now, I did go slightly off topic there, talking about Japan, but I brought it back to the specific topic. Now, this is important because if you do find yourself going down a road which is off topic, just try and be conscious of what you're saying. And I call it with my students, I call it a rescue sentence. And we can do this with the writing task as well. We put in a rescue sentence that ties back what you've just written or what you've just mentioned if in the speaking, and you tie it back and you get back on topic. Next question was, what kinds of photos do people like to take? I guess people like to take photos that capture experiences and memories. I know since I've had a toddler, I've started taking so many more photos. I'd probably take more, but my phone is so battered, also due to the fact of having a toddler, that the image quality isn't that good. However, I guess most people take photos to remember things, remember experiences and holidays and family events. So yeah, and also landscapes, I guess. Those are the types of photos people like to take. There we go. So again, went slightly off topic there about a toddler and just brought it back on topic pretty quickly. I mentioned, experiences, memories, capture events. Again, topic-specific vocabulary. And when you're using this ByeByeHumanEnglishTutor.com app, you'll be able to see your answer in front of you. So you can review it and you can look, did I use many conjunctions? Did I make any comparisons? And soon we should be able to evaluate the speaking as well. Let's move on.
Do you think people take more photos now than in the past?
Yes, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt, people definitely take more photos. I think it goes back, I think the reason is because nowadays almost everybody has a smartphone and it's just too easy. Also, with the smartphone taking digital pictures, there's literally zero cost involved in snapping a picture. So yes, definitely people do take more pictures now than they used to do in the past. So again, topic-specific vocabulary, snapping a picture. I gave a reason why. I developed it. I could have developed it more by making more comparisons, but I did make sure to get out that I used a very useful phrase, which is compared to, compared to how they used to in the past. I also meant with the reasons I talked about digital photography, but the key thing here is that I managed to jump between two different tenses and time frames, which will definitely help me get the score. Let's move on.
Do you think equipment is important for photography?
Yes, definitely. Equipment is definitely useful. I've heard that people using DSLR cameras, which is a high-end camera, can take vastly superior photos. However, nowadays, phone technology is getting so good that I think the question of equipment is, I wouldn't say becoming redundant, but I think it's less important because most people nowadays have high-end photography gear and software built into the everyday mobile phone. So again, reason why, topic-specific vocabulary, all grammatically perfect due to the fact I'm native English, obviously. However, just developing the answer, giving a reason, that's the way forward. Let's move on.
How has the role of photography in society changed with smartphones?
Well, as I was saying before, with everybody having a smartphone and a decent camera in the pocket, I guess the role of photography has become more prevalent, more widespread. And also to a certain extent, almost everybody is pretty much a journalist, or at least a photojournalist. And I think the role of photography has probably been promoted somewhat, because now we can get real pictures from the actual actors of a big event rather than waiting for a professional photographer to come. So I guess the role of photography is being promoted somewhat nowadays in society. So there, again, I gave a reason, I gave a real world example. It was quite believable as well. It was completely realistic. And I think one of the benefits of using this app is that you can refer to the question. But more importantly, this question is something that I have never, ever thought about in my life. And having that sort of like surprise question now while I'm training, imagine I'm a student, having the surprise question now while I'm training for the exam, even though it's just a tutorial, just helps me get my ideas in order, helps me think about it. So if you get this question when you're using the byebyehumannenglishtutor.com app, then you can start getting your brain in gear, getting it warmed up. You can discover weak spots of vocabulary that you might have. Moving on.
What are the pros and cons of digital photography compared to traditional photography?
I guess the pros are that you could take as many pictures as you would like to. You could also you can see the results of what you've taken immediately. You don't have to wait to get the picture developed like you used to. But I think the biggest advantage is that something happens. For example, I don't know, you might see a car crash or whatever. I know that's a bit sinister, but you might see a car crash and you could take photos instantly rather than regretting the moment. Also, with traditional photography, there's the cost, there's the time, and it was highly unlikely that you were carrying a camera around when you wanted to take a picture. Unless, of course, you're at a specific, specially organized family event. But even then, you still have to wait to get it developed. So I guess there's plenty of pros and cons, but definitely digital photography is a huge improvement. There we go. So I just felt the need there just to go back and sort of like summarize, clearly indicate to the examiner, I've finished talking about this question, let's move on. And also in this question, it's inviting you to compare. So comparatives are quite useful. Whereas, in the past, or we used to, and these kind of comparisons will just help you move forward, help you give a more complete answer to the exam for the examiner. Question 7.
How do social media platforms influence photography trends?
I guess social media possibly makes it more appealing, or it almost rewards you for taking more pictures because you start publishing more on your own profile, you get more likes. So I guess with regards to photography trends, it influences them by boosting the volume of photos being produced. The quality of the photos and the quality of what's been pictured is another topic. However, I guess social media platforms actually reward people who take more pictures, and possibly even rewards those who take more higher quality pictures as well. There we go. This is another question that I have never ever thought about in my entire life. So just going over these questions, and as I've said in previous tutorials, you can read this question, you can read them all in a list, for example, and you can think, oh, these questions are easy. But it's not until you start actually speaking that you discover that actually this is quite a difficult question. And I almost started going on about social media being negative and, getting rewarded, or, people posting pictures of cars that they don't have and all of this stuff. And then I was like, no, that's going to be off topic. So this is another benefit of practicing, but actually speaking the answer, discovering your weak spots, and just staying on topic. By that, I mean answering the question asked rather than answering the question you thought was asked. And that's a huge, huge, huge error I see when I'm training my students. Moving on.
Can photography be considered a form of art?
Absolutely. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. It's interesting because when photography came about, a lot of the purists, the classical artists, definitely thought it was an abomination. However, nowadays, there are awards for wildlife photography, for social photography, and you can take courses about taking good photos. And just one last point, a lot of the knowledge from classical painting and the creation of art has jumped into photography. For example, the use of shading, the how you construct the picture, the eye path, the foreground, the background. So definitely photography should and is considered an art form. There we go. One small mistake there. I said should be and is considered an art form. But there we go. Now that was a question that I had definitely thought about before, and you could tell the answer was longer. It was more confident. And it's not that I've done that question before, but I've had similar conversations with friends. So that just goes to, being, just being active and reading and just jumping into topics and filling your brain up with ideas and vocabulary, which is sort of like at the background of preparing for the IELTS exam. Reading BBC, going to sites you wouldn't normally go to, like MIT, Hacker News, or whatever, Gardening Weekly, and just dancing around those sites, having a browse, having a read, taking some vocabulary. It's all going to definitely help you. Right, final question.
How do photos influence our memories?
I guess photos influence our memories because they help us relive the actual moment when the photo was taken. They help us crystallize and cherish and digitalize our memories, literally. However, I think sometimes maybe photos can be a bit cruel, because you might not have a very photogenic face, and you might be looking at pictures of yourself over the last few months, and you might think, oh my goodness, I'm ugly. So photos can influence our memories both positively and negatively, but I think the most widespread influence is that they just help us capture the moment and capture our memories and improve our memory of the situation. So there we go. That would be my model answer for those recent IELTS questions. Obviously, in part 3, it's probably unlikely you're going to get 9 questions, but I think there's definitely some value in working through all. I think we've loaded up 10 questions for each topic, because by doing that, you're going to be repeating yourself. You're going to find, you've got a limited vocabulary on photos or on technology or whatever it is, and this will really push you. Plus, you've got the luxury of just hitting pause, doing some research, going back and then recording your answer. And there is a ton of value, especially if you've got no speaking partner, especially if you've got nobody to talk to. And that goes not only for the IELTS Part 3 simulation we've built, but just for the general conversation. I mean, I recently moved back to the UK after 20 years of being abroad, and I don't have a lot of friends. And I'm not saying that I'm chatting to myself, but I know that if there was a tool similar to help me practice my Spanish, that it would definitely be useful. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please go to byebyehumanoenglishtutor.com. It's free for now, and you can practice your speaking skills there. At the moment, unfortunately, we can't evaluate, but you can at least work on your fluency. You can see what you've said. It will come up on the screen in front of you. Any feedback on that would be highly appreciated. You can email us or email me, Ben, at IELTSPodcast.com. And you can also go to IELTSPodcast.com there and pick up a ton of free resources. Just sign up and we'll start emailing you, speaking confidence emails, writing task 2 emails, everything. And also check out the AI essay checker. That's also free for the time being. And you can upgrade to the premium checker as well. So all the best. Good luck with your exam. Keep moving forward. You've got this. Don't give up. You've got me and all our team supporting you. So keep moving forward. Think of the future. Think of that Band 7 you're going to pick up, and you're going to be moving forward in your life, going abroad, getting the masters, getting the job, getting the permanent residency, whatever it is. You've got the skills to get it. So just keep moving.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.